Hey everybody, it's Keri coming to you live on day 5 of our manifesting training, and I can't believe it. See how fast this week went? I mean, the days are flying by, the weeks are flying by, and that is why on day 1, I wanted to set everybody up to bridge the gap between possibilities, impossibilities, and possibilities by counting their wins, by counting their celebrations, because the weeks go by so fast. So as you guys are hopping on, say hello to me. Oh my gosh, you guys, welcome, welcome. Amber, Cynthia, Charla, Paula, hi guys. Oh gosh, this is so fun. So I've got a lot of information to cover today. And it's funny because if anybody felt the energy of yesterday, I don't know if it was crazy for everybody, but the people that I've spoken to, you know, had communication issues. It was almost like Mercury was in retrograde again, and I don't think that's happening, but crazy energy out there. So if there were any, you know, things going on with relationships, my daughter's dog ran away, but they found it, you know, like just nuts. So being that the energy was so crazy, I had a crazy night's sleep, and then I woke up with 2 things on my mind today, which I want to share with you. How to calibrate, calibration, and how important that is to calibrate to those that you want to, you know, be like, I guess. I was always told to, you know, to look around to see who was in your circle, the top 5 people that you were spending your time with. What are their habits? You know, what are their bank accounts like? And I would always teach my girls that too, you know, who their friends were. You know, it's more likely you're going to be fit and working out if your friends are, you know, are gym rats, not really rats, but that are conscious of their health. You know, if they are going out partying, you're more likely to calibrate to that. So as we are working towards next levels, as we are working towards our manifesting, you know, manifesting our desires, to be conscious of those that are in our circle. And because I was a leader in my own space and I had a hard time finding people that I wanted to calibrate to, I was the leader. And I always wondered, well, okay, well, who do I calibrate then to? So I was calibrating to my father. He was the first one out of both sides of my family that overcame the poverty. He was the only one in our family that ever made any money. So he was the person that I always looked up to. And a lot of people looked up to him as well. And what I want to say, what a blessing and a curse he had to carry, because everybody wanted to know the secret that he had. But because of the fact that he didn't have anyone, you know, to calibrate to, he was the leader, he was the trailblazer, he was the person, the warrior, the one that was going to change his paradigm for his family. He was alone. He was alone a lot of times, and he knew how to make money, but he didn't know how to keep it. And he passed away a couple of years ago, and I'm just like, you know, so sad that he doesn't know the rest of the secret. He knew how to make the money. He knew how to enjoy the money, but he even told us, he's like, I don't know how to tell you guys how to keep it. And, you know, I saw him make millions and lose it twice in my life. Twice. So I never knew if I was going to open my garage and we were going to be like riding bikes for the day, or if we were going to be driving Cadillacs. I had no idea ever. So I know how fast money comes, and I know how fast money goes. And he never worked through his poverty blocks. He never worked through that mindset and the worth issues, because why should he have it? He was ADD in school. He was told that he would never make anything out of himself. He was told, you know, that he wasn't ever going to get into college. These are things he was told. And because he was bold enough to go after what he wanted, he finally did it twice. But I certainly wish that he could have learned the second half of the secret on how to keep it, and, you know, how to make more of it, and how to finally, you know, build his charities that he wanted to build and stuff like that. So the blocks that we have within us, sometimes we know what they are. Sometimes we know, yeah, I was, you know, when I was younger, this happened to me, and this is why I feel this way. Those are easy ones to look at. They're not easy to look at, but they're easy to recognize that, of course, that's why, obviously, you know, that's obvious that I would get triggered like that because of what happened when I was younger. Or I came from this family, and that's why I have, you know, these fears or beliefs around, you know, whatever it is. I never liked dogs because my mom never liked dogs. Not that there's nothing wrong with dogs, but I always was afraid of dogs because my family was afraid of dogs. You know, and that's finally changing now that my daughter has all these animals, and they're so adorable, and I'm seeing their personalities. So it's just little things like that. The blocks that keep us down are the ones that we can't find. we could do all the work that, that we know consciously to do to work through the blocks of when we were younger. But the blocks that maybe come from when we were in utero, the blocks that come from the things that we heard when we were babies and we don't even remember, the fears and beliefs that our parents had that are instilled in us before we even can recognize blocks. Or if we want to go even further into our past lives, if you believe in that. I believe in a lot of stuff just because our universe is so epic and so quantum and abundant that I believe that we could have been brought in with things from the past as well. So if we don't find those hidden blocks, we can do all the work we want to about getting rid of the things that happened when we were kids. But there are ways to find out about the hidden blocks that happened and then clear those. Any old beliefs that your parents had that they gave to you before you remember. So that's about calibration. It's very important to get it when you're getting to these next level, to be around people that have done it before, to look for those that you look up to, and to recognize those that are in your circle, to remain, keep your standards and your boundaries high. Keep your what am I going to accept in my circle? What kind of behavior am I going to accept? Because it's standards across the board. Business, relationships, life, everything. How do I feel about myself that I'm going to allow someone to talk to me that way? How do I feel about myself, that I'm going to go to that party that I'm not really sure that I want to go to? So watch your circle, I guess. And the second thing that I woke up with is we have not discussed that the how doesn't matter. In this 5-day training, we haven't discussed that. And I know that, people that are keeping up with law of attraction and manifesting and stuff, you know that. But I want to go into that, why the how doesn't matter. And that's the perfect part, because our minds go crazy, with the fear. The fear comes in, you can't do that. How is that going to happen? Especially in this time of the crisis and everything like that. I just found out that a friend of mine, her husband's a doctor. They had to close their practice down. It's been closed for 4 weeks. They had to let everybody go. I'm sure like a lot of people, but when I hear things firsthand, then obviously it sets in more. The government came in and took all of his scrubs and masks, like cleaned them out. And I'm like, are they allowed to do that? Like took all of his I mean, I don't know the backstory behind that, but kind of cleaned out his office, and he shut down. And how are they going to pay their bills? They've got a big house, a big mortgage on that place, and she's worried, how are we going to pay our bills? The how doesn't matter. It's easy to wonder that though, like, because it doesn't make sense. It's too linear of a thought though. And to get and call these magical things in and these desires, we can't think linear. We've got to think more quantum. We've got to think more universal. And that's where the trust and faith comes in. So our job is to stay in joy, to celebrate all the small things, to celebrate daily, have a celebration column next to your gratitude column, and allow the how to be up to the universe, because the universe is the one up there, the God or whoever you believe in, is moving all the puzzle pieces around. In order for you to get your desire, this has to be moved, or this has to be moved, or this has to be moved. If there's a house that you want to move into and someone's living in it, well, they have to move out first. You can't just manifest them to move out. So to recognize that there is an order of things, or things might just be ready for you when you line up for them. It's our job to be happy, to be in joy, to be blasting the love bubbles that we talked about, to want our desires to be clear enough on our desires so it's not wishy-washy. I kind of want it, I'm not sure, I'm afraid to have it. No. Clear on your desires, and then get excited about how it's going to come in, and then also recognize that it could come in such different ways. When we do the manifesting, the little games that I do with the girls, I've done it with my friends too, and the way things come in, you've just got to be open to the vastness of it, not just one lane. There's not just one lane for it to come in. And for it to come in such a different way that, oh my gosh, it came in like that, plus, get excited for the universe to add the sprinkles to it and make it even more desirable for you, because like I said, we only know so much. We only can ask for so much because our minds are so small. Let's see. Oh, the emotion code, Karen. Yes, absolutely. Yep, there's the tapping. The emotion code, that's what I'm talking about too, is finding those blocks. And there are so many stuck in us. And when I did it, I found, things that my parents, they were my parents' blocks that are stuck in me, and then clear them out. So if you guys want to check out the emotion code on some of those videos, it's absolutely amazing. An amazing way to clear blocks. There are also other techniques you can do. It's the sway test, which I didn't really, mean to get into that today, but so look up the sway test to give you answers. If you're looking for yes and no answers, I sometimes just say, okay, I throw a question out there and I say the first yes I hear is my answer, the first no I hear is my answer, and then I turn the radio on and I might hear it in a song. I go to the grocery store and I'm like listening, and someone might just shout out a yes or shout out a no, and then that kind of gives me my answer too. So that's a fun way of doing it. So don't worry about the how. Make sure you have your desires down and just allow. So not having to worry about the how also takes the pressure off when we start getting into the fear mode, because we get into fear because we don't know how. We have no idea how this is going to happen, but miracles happen every day, right? So just align with it and don't worry about the how, and allow the magic to happen and get excited for it. So also, when we are looking towards our desires, we're given actions to do. We ask, then we listen to our intuition, and then we go. If we are asking and going, that's the hustle part. If we're not sure what we're doing, but we feel like we need to do this and do this and do this, and that didn't work, so I'm gonna change that, and that didn't work, so I'm gonna change that, that's a hustle part, and that's not being aligned, that's being human. So if we get our aligned action, and I talked about this sometimes the intuitive hits, sometimes they're just like, go to Starbucks today, take a day off, go to the beach, because there might be that person that can lead you to the next step at the beach or at Starbucks. Who am I going to run into today? Or it might be something different. And I remember I did a Wealth Zone series, I think it was a couple months ago in the group. And as I was doing, I get a lot of information when I'm putting my makeup on or drying my hair in the group or in my room, because I'm not thinking about anything. So if we're drying our hair and you just have the hum of the air dryer, or you're putting your makeup on or whatever, things come in my mind. And I heard on day 4, it was another 5-day training. On day 4, I heard do day 4 on my personal Facebook page, and I'm like, that's the silliest thing I've heard. Like, I don't know who's speaking to me, but I'm not going on my personal page. Like, I'm doing the training in my group now. After 3 days of doing it, I was comfortable. I was comfortable. What would have happened if I did it on my personal page? Nothing. But I was comfortable. And I'm like, I got this. Don't you worry. As I'm telling people to listen to their intuition. But this was an interesting thing, because this is one that didn't feel good. I did it on my group. Okay, so 4 days in my group. On day 5, I go back, get ready to go on. I'm doing my makeup, and I hear it again. Day 5 in your personal page. And I'm like, I'm in control. I set this up. I got this. Don't you guys worry. Who am I talking to? Because that would be the most ridiculous thing. I'm not telling myself to go on my personal page. Sounded like my voice, but I'm like, why would I tell myself to do that? That would be the craziest thing ever. And I wasn't going to. So I got all set up to go live in my group on day 5 of my Wealth Zone series. And I walked into my room, or like my office or whatever, what I was doing. And all of a sudden, like, I tripped. The glass of tea that I had went all over the place. I'm supposed to be, on in like 1 minute. All over the place. All over my wall, all over my carpet, all over my couch, all over my notes, everything. My notes were soaked, all over my computer. My light fell over. I got a big bruise on my arm, and I'm just like, I was pissed. The Italian in me came out, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm trying to, show up, and I'm trying to be, on time and everything, and all of a sudden this happens. And I was just pissed, and I threw my notes, and I finally went live, and I'm just like, all right, here's the deal, the authentic me. This is what happened, blah, blah, blah. No notes, nothing, and everything just flowed for 45 minutes, which, sometimes I think that's too long to talk, or I can't talk that long. And after, I'm seeing people pop on, and I'm like, they're from high school. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm on my personal page anyways. So the universe is like, we can do this the easy way or hard way. You choose. You choose. You're asking, we're giving you direction, and you're not listening to the direction. So, I can only imagine the the universe's assistants or whatever, boss, we keep telling her to go on her page, and she's not listening. And finally the universe is like, trip her. So like, it was just really interesting. It was very funny. So I have to listen to my intuitive hits very, very carefully too, because when we're growing, we have growing pains. It's not always comfortable, you know? But we're always safe. So there's a difference between being safe and being comfortable. And if you are asking to get to the next level and you're only doing things just a little bit out of your comfort zone, you're not growing enough. Sometimes our actions we have to do things before we're ready to do it. And that's the scary part. But just trust. I'm all in. I'm saying hell yes to this. I'm saying hell yes. I'm all in no matter what. No matter what. And if that one thing didn't work, we don't know it actually didn't work in the moment because things are always working. You know, we learn from it. So listen to your intuition and take your aligned action, and know that sometimes the next step is going to be a scary one, and you might not be ready for it, but you're ready for it, if that makes sense. How are you guys doing? How was this week for you? Hi, Karen. Hi, Jolene. Cynthia. Let's see. Hi, Amber. Yes, the emotion code. Look it up on YouTube. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Hi, Edna. Oh, growing pains. We gotta I don't want them to hurt though. I don't want them to hurt. I got a big bruise on my arm from that day, but it made for a funny story because I don't care. I care, but I don't care. I can't care, right? Okay, so I want to talk to you guys about patience and trust. And I wrote a post on my personal page about this. It was about the bamboo tree. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but this was a really interesting example of how it is very relative to our success. This bamboo tree, it has to be watered every single day for 5 years. It has to be watered and nurtured and watered and nurtured without seeing one sprout, without seeing one thing coming out from the ground. And you can't peek, you can't dig it up to see if anything's going on. But that's what we tend to do. We keep checking. Is it working? Is it working? Is it working? We do one thing and then we check. And if we don't see that it working, then we pull the plug. Out of safety, out of, fear of, or saving ourselves from fear, saving ourselves from failure, saving ourselves from judgment, or to be ridiculed, or which I don't even know who's doing that to anybody, judging or ridiculing, because obviously if anybody's judging anybody, those people need to look in the mirror, period. So it shouldn't matter. And I do truly believe, people tell me to, well, the more you're seen, the more haters you're going to get, the more, people aren't going to agree with your opinions and stuff like that. And that's what they say because they see it. And that's a paradigm too. I truly believe that you can put a bubble around everything that you do, call in those that want to see it. Don't call in the ones that don't want to see it. And those people, won't see it. Or if they see it, they're not going to say anything. They're not going to have the need to fight. So I don't believe that we need a lot of haters or fighters. I don't. It's all what we believe, right? It's what we call in. It's what we choose to have. And if it works for other people, then it works for other people. But yeah, I'll find my people, Jenna. I know, Karen, it's hard. We want instant gratification when we're doing something. We want to know. I need to be rewarded, but then that's like the child behavior. I'm like, I've done all this work and where's my reward? That's like a temper tantrum. We don't know how we got there. We never know how we got there until we're there. And then we look back. Oh yeah, wow, that was interesting. I took all those steps and did that. And this worked, that didn't work. You can pivot on your path. You can always change your mind. Always change your mind. Just don't stop and don't quit. Just don't pull the plug too early. If you say you're going to go, do something for a certain amount of time, or you're going to do a post because you felt really drawn to do it, just post it and move on. And just know that whether you get any likes or whether you don't, take it down, because if you were intuitively guided to say that, someone needed to hear it. So don't ever try not to let the fear of the world stop you from showing up, stop you from doing what you're supposed to be doing, because there are people that need it. And then that's doing a disservice to yourself and also to them that actually need to hear it. I mean, you could have saved someone's life that day. One person. You just need one person to speak to. It's not quantity over quality, it's quality, Oh, the bamboo tree. That's right. Okay, so it takes 5 years to grow, and you have to water it and nurture it every single day without peaking. And then after the 5 years, it like shoots up like 60 feet or 80 feet within like 5 weeks. So I wouldn't be, I would kind of time it and not be around it when it's like shooting out of the ground like wildfire. But who that person was to actually plant the seed and like have the patience to sit there when the family's probably like, ridiculing and judging, and look at Tommy again, he's watering that plant year after year after year, and finally after 5 years, Tommy's plant grew, so I don't know, that's quite the patience to learn how to, the first person that recognized the bamboo tree took 5 years. So we always tell our kids too, just keep going, don't quit. Keep going, you can do it, don't quit. So it's okay for us to tell other people that, but sometimes it's hard for us to take the own advice. It's like, do as I say, not as I do. It shouldn't be like that. It should be, I'm gonna keep doing it, and I'm gonna show you. And if it takes time, that's why I like counting the small wins, celebrating the small wins, because we'll keep getting delivered, our wins, they'll be bigger, and then by the time we get our desire, we're onto something else. Anyways, we're always creating new desires, which is so fun. Right? Hi, Kim. So I always used to say that I was a survivor. I'm a survivor, and I never knew the negative term, negative connotation behind that. So way back when, I switched from like, I'm not just a survivor, I'm a thriver, because we don't just want to survive. Surviving is one step away from being not okay. And to me, that's not okay. To have the pressure of, one paycheck away from being not okay, we don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. And that's why thinking bigger and these quantum leaps that I want to do today with you, I want to show you how I quantum leap, which is super fun, is very important. So thinking bigger too, normally, because of our beliefs and our past and our conditioning and all the old programs that keep running through our mind, we say, we want this, we have a desire. And a lot of times we weren't really allowed to desire things because need versus desire, as we talked about a couple days ago, it's, do you really need that? Well, why do you need it? Well, what are you going to do with it? Well, where are you going to put it? Like, too many questions around it. If I want it, I want it. Like, I desire it, I want it because it will make me happy. That's why. That's all. And as kids, a lot of times, when they want something, well, you don't need that. But no, we don't need a lot of things. We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, that's it. But we desire a whole bunch of things, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I feel that we grew up at, if we found something that we wanted, but we didn't need, then we backed ourselves down ourselves. Now, since we were so conditioned, I really don't need it. I really don't need to spend the money on it. So I might get like the second best version of it because it's cheaper, and, whether it's a handbag or a pair of shoes or whatever, it's cheaper and it'll be okay. But will that lower version of it make you happy? Probably not. So I'd rather not even spend the money on the lower version and energetically shop for what I want and then manifest that of which I want. Thinking bigger on it. So don't back yourself down, or try not to back yourself down. This is a really good exercise in thinking bigger. Put your desire out there. Is that what you really want, that desire? And then if you start feeling like, I don't know if I should have it, I don't know if I should, at least put it out there. And then if you have those feelings come up, you can, well, why shouldn't I have it? Well, why can't I at least put it on my vision board? Why can't it just come in magically? I mean, we don't always have to buy things too. We're gifted things. The universe delivers things to us, like it comes in from known and unknown sources. Money does the same thing. So I'm going to give you a hint too on money coming from known and unknown sources. I would always say, don't throw out your junk mail. The little white cards that come in the mail that look like junk mail are a lot of times they're like class action lawsuits or whatever. Fill it out if you're part of it, whatever. You never know. You might get paid on something. And there are random checks that come in the mail too, from like cell phone companies and auto companies and mortgage companies that look like junk mail. So like random checks would always show up in my mailbox, but I would also play a game and walk to my mailbox instead of like, oh my God, I wonder how many bills are coming today and blah, blah, blah. I wonder how many checks are in my mailbox. I can't wait to see how many checks I get this week. And all of a sudden I would be getting these random checks just because I switched my thinking, just because I'm like creating a new reality. I'm creating it to happen. So that's always really fun. And then it's evidence that this stuff works. It's evidence that we can create some really fun stuff. So I believe we create our reality. Tomorrow hasn't been created yet. If we see our reality right now and we don't like what we see, our minds, if you can imagine our minds being the projector of the movie that we're playing. So whatever we're seeing is what we're projecting. It's mirroring our minds, our thoughts, which can be shifted, it can be changed. And the best thing about not liking something is that it's showing you, what do you want? I don't like how this is going. I don't like how this feels. I don't like how this is working. Okay, switch it. How do I want it to feel? How do I want it to look? How do I want it to be? And then I write things down just because I'm a better writer, and I can visualize it then on the paper. But visualize too. What do you want? What do you want to see? Close your eyes and actually, this is where the quantum jump comes in. But let me finish thinking bigger for a second. So I did this on a car. I think I've mentioned this a couple times. I've done it several times. I did it on a car that had 3 different versions of it. And this is when I was going through a really hard time. And I'm like, I am thinking to myself, I'm the last person that should be wanting a brand new car right now. There is no way, with everything going on, all the chaos going on around me when it came to, my divorce and, whatever, all the finances, and it was when the market dropped and stuff like that, that I should be putting this on my board, a brand new car. And I'm like, well, I'll just do the middle version. I'll be safe and just do the middle version of it. But then a couple days later, I was like, well, if it's coming in, what do I really want? I want the version of it. It doesn't matter what's going on. This will be even a much more, fun experience or experiment too, to see really what comes in and how long it takes. Because I didn't really think I could get it, but I thought I could get it. Like I knew it was going to come in, therefore there was no resistance around it. I wasn't like, I have to have it. It's going to come in, because I didn't even know how I was going to like sign for it, And I took the middle version off and I put the picture of the top of the line version on, and I just had fun with it. Because sometimes it's fun for me to go into these fantasy worlds if I'm stressing out. It's much more fun for me to create something that I'm going to enjoy. And I was looking online for this car, and then all of a sudden I'm just like, it would be really easy if it was just like 5 miles away, because there were a lot of them like around the country or whatever. But how am I going to get it? How am I going to get there if I need a cosigner, or if if magic's going to happen, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go by myself. And just a lot of things went into this. But all of a sudden that day I said that it would be easy if it was in my town. It showed up at my dealership. It was the exact year, exact mileage, exact price, exact model. And I got it within like an hour. Like it almost showed up too soon, like it wasn't even detailed yet. So when you lose the resistance and you don't really need it, but you're having fun ordering it and just allowing the universe to do its magic, that's how the parking spaces come in. But that was for me, that was a big one. It was a big parking space, but it was amazing, and I absolutely loved it. Opening my garage, seeing it there before it was there. So then when it showed up, I'm just like, oh my God, dolphins. So when you're thinking of your desire, see if you can think on top of it. Can I build on top of it one more step? Can I build on top of it one more step? If you're going to go on a trip, or if you want to go on a trip, how's the trip going to go? Is it going to be easy? Do you want new luggage? Do you want first class? What kind of treatment do you want? Do you want to go for a really amazing trip, not just a trip that shows up because you have to go for something that you don't want to go for? So making sure that your desires are clear intentions, and also adding some extra little, things into it. Sure, why not new luggage? Maybe first class. I don't know. Like if you want it, if it makes sense. If it doesn't, that's good too. One thing that I have a problem with when I go on planes, I'm always, and it's like a fear thing, to get stuck in front of your seat and then not have room over your overhead bin. So if I was president, everyone's bin would be over their seat. I would make that clear. Because I don't, if it's in the back, then you can't get it. You can't get off the plane. I mean, there's just so much chaos. And then if there's not room, and if I can't carry my suitcase up, like if it's too heavy and, it's embarrassing. We're in close quarters, everyone's watching, and that's stage fright to me, going on a plane trying to get my suitcase up into the thing. So I script it as I'm going through security. Okay, someone's just going to ask. There will be someone behind me that will just do it for me. They will ask, I plan it all the way to the plane. And I got on the plane one time and I was standing in front of my seat and all of a sudden I heard this voice, would you like help with your bag? I'm like, of course, you know. It's just, I don't know. Okay, so let's talk about the quantum jump. Have you guys ever done a quantum jump? Do you know what it's like? It's kind of like a meditation. So let me just check in here for a second. Cynthia, I know, let's see. How do you level up self-worth while simultaneously dealing with the shadow work besides breathe? The minute your trigger comes up, which is the shadow telling you you're not worthy enough, you're not good enough, the child or victim or version of it saying you need to lower your prices or give something away because you're not worthy of getting the amount that you want. The minute you feed into it, you're feeding the shadow. The minute you recognize that trigger and you counteract it with the truth, with your frequency, with your voice. Thanks for showing up. I recognize that you're talking to someone else. You're no longer allowed to be telling me that. It's not the truth. So what's the truth? So if you're not worthy. Yeah, I am. Yeah, look what I'm doing. Look at how proud I am of myself. Look at what I've done. Look at, so to counter, as soon as the trigger comes up, to catch it, so the trigger doesn't add on, so you don't like compound the trigger, and more of those thoughts and voices coming in, catch it and turn it around and tell it the truth, because what it's telling you is a lie. All those voices in our heads are telling us old stuff that it believes, but it's not us anymore. It was never us. It was never us. It was just false beliefs that were playing in the background. So catch it and tell it back off. And I used to do that a lot when I was younger too. Like for some reason I knew I was going through bankruptcies and foreclosures and divorce and like everything at one time, and had no mentors. And this is when I'm like, society didn't have the answers for me. It had the answers for me when I was doing everything for society, getting married, having the babies, but then all of a sudden something went wrong, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And everyone's like, well, I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm like, this is not fair. Wait, I did everything for you, and now all of a sudden I need help? I need a good lawyer? I need to know how to get divorced? I need to know I'm going to be okay after I get divorced? Or not? Am I just going to, this is life? No, So I would go in my room and I would like command. I'm like, here's the deal. Like, I'm sorry, but this is bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm not doing this alone. No way. Everything at one time. And now I've got these babies to take care of. Show me what I'm supposed to be doing. I command, you guys. I command. Help. Show me within 24 hours. Put someone in my path. Someone that knows that can help me through this. And I kid you not, people would be in my path that were going through the same thing. They were just a little bit ahead, that would help me navigate the waters of that. And then another thing that I ran into is that a lot of the attorneys and stuff, which would think that I was going to quit because I was a girl. And I'm like, if I was a guy, you would never be talking to me that way. If I was a guy, you would never think that I'm just going to quit and like just go. And I'm like, so I learned a lot of stuff, and they would tell me like to dumb myself down, like don't wear makeup and everything in the courtroom, and I'm just like, wait. I'm like, how about I'll take care of this with my magic wand. How about that? Like, I'm winning. Anyways, it's all gonna work out perfectly for me. Everything works out perfectly for me. In all ways, always. That's one of my favorite affirmations. Everything always works out perfectly for me. I don't know how. I don't have to know how, but it just does. Okay. Karen, I don't know what that is. Oh, the quantum jump. Okay. So the quantum jump is going out to find our doppelganger, which is one of my favorite words. It is going out to find the next level version of us that we are manifesting. So a great way to do it, it's kind of like a meditation and a visualization, would be to get quiet, to calm your mind, to take your breaths, deep breaths, and to, on a screen, put a big white screen in front of you. Like we talked about, we mirror what we see in life mirrors our thoughts. So we're going to change the thoughts. And we're going to see a vision on the screen of the next level version of you doing what you want to do, having what you want to have, and you're going to watch this scene. So set the scene. What is she wearing? Who is she with? Is she in a house? Is she in a car? What's around her? Is she teaching? Is she speaking to a big group? Kids around her? How are the kids behaving? What is she eating? How is she walking? How does she hold her posture? How is she speaking to people? How are people, reacting around her? Who is this person? Who is the next version of you? And really feel what that would feel like to be that. And just really mold the scene so it's an amazing movie. Oh my God, if I had that, that's what I want. That's what I want. Everything that girl has, everything. And then walk up to the screen and come face to face with her, eye to eye. And then no one's speaking and you're just kind of doing this rundown from head to toe graph. And then what I like to do is turn around and back into that woman, back into that version, back into the next level. So now you become one. And now you are in the screen, you are that person. And now you're seeing it from your view. You're not observing it from a where you were before. You're not observing it. Now you're that person. And you, who's around you, do the same thing. Who's around you? What am I wearing? Oh my God, brand new clothes, my kids, what kind of house am I in? What kind of car am I in? How am I walking? How do people look at me? How am I speaking to people? Are they asking me questions? Are we just, playing in the kitchen and having a great dinner? Are there animals around? Are you traveling? What does your partner look like? What are they wearing? I would just describe it and just get as visually clear and then get that feeling of how that woman feels to be in the situation, to be in bliss, to be calm, to have what appears it all, to be fulfilled, to be around those that she loves, to be doing her passion, and get into that feeling of it. And then bring her back with you. Bring that energy back with you as you start to come back to your body and then wake up. Then see, when you walk outside, how people look at you. They're going to see the energy around you, So that's a really fun way that I like just to go get the energies and bring them back. It helps me because my mind needs to be visual. So there's also something called bending time and collapsing time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that as well. We're going to go over that in the program in detail. But I see a lot of people making mistakes when it comes to manifesting because they want something that they've never had before, but they want it because they think it would make them feel better in the moment of it, in the moment of having it. And we can't want something because we're going to think it's going to make us feel better. So we have to dissect, why do we want what we want? Why do we want what we want? And we get the feeling of what we want, well, because it will make me feel this way, this way, this way. So then we concentrate on the feeling of that. We concentrate on, okay, well, it'll make me feel calm, it'll make me feel happy, it'll make me feel safe. We need to sit without having it first and dive into those feelings. But right now, as I look around, everything is safe. We're all safe. Thank God we at least have internet and cable during this time, right? And grocery stores are open. Everything. We could be calm if we want to be. We don't have to be in fear. So that's my desire, but I'm already going to just claim the emotions that I think it's going to give me, which it's not going to give me, but that's why I want it. I'm just going to give myself those emotions right now. I'm going to claim that I'm safe, comfortable, fulfilled, passionate, excited, energized. But that's my desire. And then that's a good way to line up with your desire. If you have a hard time feeling what it would feel like to make a certain amount per month, to have so many clients, to do this job, then we have to start smaller. We have to start smaller. What would it feel like if one person if you got one person, or if you made $5,000 a month, or if you made $10,000 a month, whatever it is, if you've never made what, like people say that they want to make $50,000 a month, but they've never made $10,000 a month. So it's going to be hard to just jump to 50. And if they get it, it won't stay because they don't have a foundation behind it. And it's not a matter of just manifesting money left and right. It's a matter of creating a lifestyle, a lifetime of unlimited, limitless wealth by compounding your steps, by compounding your energy. So you can keep it growing, and you can keep it. You can keep it. So if people line up with the lottery for that moment that aren't ready to have it, what happens to the majority of lottery winners? They lose it, and they're worse off because they're not prepared. They're not prepared to have it. They're not prepared for what's going to come in. But they align with it for a second, and all of a sudden they get it. So you can align with all your goals. But if you want that $50,000 a month consistently, but you've never had it before, then start with 10, then start with 5. And then you compound that, you bend time around that. So it doesn't have to be 5 a month. It could be just like, what do they say? Eat the elephant one bite at a time, or whatever. Don't eat the elephant at the whole thing. Don't go after the 50,000 if you've never had it before. If you've had it, you know the feeling behind it, then that's different. But start small and then compound it, and then you could call in another 5,000 that week. You could call it in that night. You can call it in 3 days later, depending on, how you are working with that one bit of the elephant bite, if that makes sense. And then by the end of the month, you could be at 50, or you could be more, but you're not going right after that 50. You're going after a smaller chunk of it, if that makes sense. So that's kind of a fun exercise to make things easier to digest. I do the quantum jump. I probably do it, now that I'm teaching it, I do it more often, but whenever I feel stressed, whenever I feel like I want to get to the next level of something, so two different reasons. If I'm really looking to anchor in a feeling and a mood and a new desire, then I'll do it. And it doesn't take long. It's just, you go get the energy and you feel it and anchor it in. And then when you wake up, you have almost time traveled, Jen, I was invited to a gala by someone I really didn't know, but went anyways. It was the best. I wanted to have these in our event hall. She never showed up. I was meant to be there. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there are so many paths that lead us, and we have no idea why. I know. The people that I run into just randomly, random, not random. Like I don't believe that there are any coincidences. So as you guys can see, oh, Lynn, hi, welcome. As you guys can see, this is a daily practice, and there are a lot of tools to use. And some of the things that I use might sound funny to you, but you can create your own. So it's not one fit, one fit for everybody, one size fits all. These are some of the ways that I like doing it. It's all energy, if you just understand that. Today's day 5, this is the last day that we're doing this particular series. I'm gonna start something on my personal page, and I think that I'm friends with most of you. If I'm not, please friend me, because I'm gonna do something fun on my personal page, since this was only for our group here, the selected few. And I also want to mention, I do have the art of manifesting through scripting and receiving and trusting and getting through those blocks, getting clear on your desires and mastering your own script for the next 3 weeks, offered to this group at $333 for the early bird special. If you guys want to join me and continue on this journey, I do believe that we can make so much magic and have so many incredible wins and celebrations in the next couple weeks. You saw how fast this week went, right? And I believe that things are going to start opening up too in, I think our Starbucks, my daughter just got invited to go back to work on May 3rd. So we're going to be opening up, and it would be better to just know what we're doing and create so much magic between now and then and every day after. So let me know if you guys want to continue on the journey with me. I would love to have you. Friend me on my personal page, and we're going to be working on like mindset experimental stuff for moms and kids or friends, because it's fun for me to do with my friends, but that's what we're going to go over next week on my personal page. So you guys, I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for your support. I love every single one of you. Keep doing your wins and your gratitudes and your 333, because you'll see the quantum difference. All right. I love you. Have an amazing day.